Will my wife be Mario? Oh, that would be funny. No, she's gonna be Toad. So that would be funny though. Not the Toad, but Toad. Yeah, like the mushroom guy. Um, tell you, it's funny is when I was a kid, like we always had to make our own costumes. Um, like one year I remember I wanted to be a ninja, so my ninja costume was my red sweats, a red hoodie, and I just tied the hoodie tight so you could just see my face, and that was my ninja costume. I don't even think I had a ninja sword, so but I still enjoyed being a ninja. It was still fun. And then when I got older, my mom, my mom was a Marine, and the older I got, the more her old camo fit me. So like there are a couple of years where I would just be a soldier and would just wear her old camo. That was a lot of fun. The fun part about the camo was that you could hide in bushes and scare a lot of people. I had so much fun one year just scaring everyone that came to the door. They'd walk right past you, not see you, come back, and just, it was a lot of fun. A very fun way to spend Halloween. Who says they scared me with a clown costume in here? Dixie Seki says, I think your regular clothes look great. No need to insult them. Dixie Vicky says, will you dress up as Spider-Man one day? Um, Superman for sure. Maybe Venom. The problem with Spider-Man, this is going to seem maybe silly, is that Spider-Man is supposed to be able to do acrobatic stunts. And that is just not my wheelhouse. I would like to do a Daredevil someday, even though he does do some acrobatic stuff too. But still, like, I like Daredevil. But I do want to do Venom. I think it'd be fun to do Venom some year. I think Venom is a good Halloween scary costume. Yeah. Maybe I'll just do all of Tom Hardy's greatest hits. I'll do Venom and do Bane. Tom Hardy and me are actually just about the same height. and body type. Although he's leaner, but if I got leaner, I feel like we would be the most comparable in size type. Our shoulders are about the same size. We're about the same height. I was always surprised by how short Tom Hardy is because he doesn't look that short. But he's not a tall guy. You know what's funny is, unlike a lot of the people that drop in, whose voices I've never heard, because I've heard both of you two talk. When you text, I can hear it. 66 says you would look amazing as Wolverine and Venom 2. Just you need to transform from good to a bad guy. Yeah. Well, I can be very, very intimidating and scary when I need to be. That's why I smile so much. So I don't look scary. I used to, probably like once a year, would shave my head. Just usually around summertime. I just get tired of doing my hair. So I just shave it for a while. I look very, very scary and off-putting with a shaved head. It would be bald. Not for. Wouldn't be bald for Wolverine or Venom. I'm just saying, like when I shave my head, people it's so much more scared. It's a fun thing to do. I used to do it all the time. Where you would play, I would play with my looks, so that like you could just see how society reacts to you and treats you based off of your appearance. And it's very fun. It's a very fun experiment to do. To be bald and have people just automatically be scared of you versus walking around with your hair looking nice and stuff and people treat you different. The other fun one is when you wear a suit. If you wear a suit, like everything is different when you wear a suit. Everybody treats you better. You can go places without, like, I used to work at the malls. Like, malls are like an indoor shopping center, for like different department stores. And if I was in regular clothes and I was walking behind the mall, like in the back hallways where only like employees are supposed to be, security would for sure stop me. But if I was in my suit, no one ever bothered me. I could go wherever I wanted. Same when you're shaving your mustache, probably. Uh, Shaved head without a mustache, I think, is less scary for some people than shaved head with a mustache. Shaved head with a mustache, I think, is more intimidating here. I don't know how it is in France. Are you guys playing a lot of the um man, blanking on it. Are you guys playing a lot of the scary games still? Freaking yourselves out. I always try to get my wife to play the scary games, but she'll never do it. I try to tell her it's fun. She saw me playing Evil Dead, and I just couldn't convince her to play. I wish she would. All right, I think I'm gonna do one more set with the 30 pounds, and I'm gonna go down and wait. We played Phasmophobia, but when I'm playing with Vixie, it's a horror game. It's not a horror game anymore. So we just switch the game. Oh, when you're not by yourself, that makes sense. There's this scary movie. Sorry, I'm gonna tell you about this real fast. There's a scary movie on Netflix. I don't know if you have Netflix, but you can look it up. It's called Deliverance, and it's about this family that has they live in a haunted house that's possessed, and it starts affecting them. But if you get a chance, if you like scary stuff, look up online. Can't think of the name of the family right now. I could whisper it to you later, but it's look up Gary, Indiana, possession, and there'll be like an Indy Star article that pops up, or a newspaper called the Indy Star, and it's like an article from 2014. It tells you the story, the real story of this house that was haunted, and it's absolutely insane because in the investigation, it's not just people telling you about like, oh, this happened and this is why my kids are hurt. Because the reason why it came out is the kids were getting hurt, and social services and like the police were called about the kids being hurt. But the social services and the people investigating the kids being hurt saw the possession. And one of the I think there's two of them that documented that the little boy, when they were interviewing him, walked slowly backwards up the wall and then flipped over their heads. And they were like, well, could this have been like an acrobatic trick? And they're like, no, it wasn't like he did it fast, like a quick trick. He slowly walked backwards up the wall and flipped over the doctor or the investigators' heads. So it's definitely, but if you read the whole article, it is very, it definitely gets into your imagination because it's not a horror story that someone's writing. This is an actual news reporter reporting on actual like government documents and findings that were produced by the police and stuff. It's a very fun story. Dixie, you might not like it, but Copa, you might. Just read it. I'll find the link. I'll send you the link for the story. But read it and let me know what you think. And it's not like a creepy pasta. It's a real event. Like at one point in the story, the investigators go to the house and it's a sealed crime scene, and they see someone in the window, like a dark figure, and they go in and can't find anyone. And I think, if I remember right, the dogs were freaking out about stuff in the house. Um, there was like this black goo that they couldn't figure out what it was in different spots. A lot of fun. It's a good fun read. I think I'm done with my legs. Just gonna do some quick lateral raises. Koba, did you know that, like, have you heard of like the Salem witch trials where people in the US were like hunting witches? Like, it's pretty popular. It's like the whole Hocus Pocus movie. It's a pretty well popularized thing. But one thing that a lot of people don't know is up into the even into the 1900s, um, along the same timeline as the witch trials, but then way past the witch trials, they were hunting vampires in the United States. Um, yeah, the witch trials were like part of colonial U.S. It was before the Revolutionary War, but all the way past the Civil War, and I think the last time there was a recording of a vampire being killed was in like 1908. But people in the U.S. were still trying to kill vampires up until like 1908. And they thought that tuberculosis was um, was a vampire. So families would get tuberculosis, and they would think that there was a vampire in their midst. And usually, what they would do is when somebody died of tuberculosis, they would go and dig them up, and they would stake them and then burn them. That's the one thing about staking that a lot of movies get wrong. Isn't the like in shows and stuff, they just stab them through the heart with a wooden stake, and that's what kills them. That's not what the point of the wooden stake is. The point of the wooden stake is you open up their coffin, you stake them into their coffin through the heart, and then you let them meet the sun, and the sun kills them. Or you can burn them alive. But the stake through the heart is meant to hold them in place and keep them from getting out and running away. the common misunderstood part of the lore. So if you are ever confronted by a vampire, don't think you can just put a wooden stake in its heart. Probably just save your life, Copa. Um, but so part of what these like people were doing is, let's say you had like a family of six, a relative, one of them would die from tuberculosis. Sometimes they would say in order to get rid of the vampire, the family would have to eat the heart of the vampire. So the family would then ingest this their relative's body that had TB in it, exposing themselves to the same virus, and then they would get sick, and they were just like, "Oh, well, we didn't kill the vampire. Apparently, one of you is now the vampire." And then when whoever dies, and they would do the same thing. They would re-exhume the body, eat the body or a portion of the body, thus just just having this vicious cycle of TB wiping out whole families. Yeah, people are crazy. But Copa, did you ever hear of the guy, the con artist? I think he was an American-born con artist. I know he operated primarily in America and then went to Europe. But that there was a con artist that sold the Eiffel Tower twice. It's a fun story. I don't know, remember his name, but I can tell you the story. So this guy, there was there was an article that was written um, from the French government where they were suggesting that they remove remove the Eiffel Tower because they said it was, the cost of maintaining it was it was too much, and they were thinking about removing it. So based off of that article, this con artist got an idea, and he contacted all of these scrap metal companies and had them meet him in a fancy hotel, and said he was from the French government and that he was looking for bids for who wanted to buy the scrap metal. So he's everyone put in their bids, and he picked the one sucker out of the room and convinced him to give him a bribe to ensure that the bid goes through. And then guy showed up to collect the Eiffel Tower on the appointed day, and of course that wasn't happening. And he was so embarrassed he never told the police what happened. And so when the carnage realized the police were involved, he went back to France and then did the same thing again. Sold it twice. Very, very smart guy. The same con artist sold a money printing machine where he had two bills that were identical, but he would take the bill and he would put it on top of this like wooden box with gears. turn the gear, and out would pop an identical bill. And he would say he could just print bills this way. But he told them he could only print a bill like every 18 hours. And if they tried to print the bill before that, it wouldn't work. So that 18-hour window is when he would skip town. So he'd sell his machines, leave town. And a couple of times he got caught, and people would be like, hey, like, your machine didn't work. And he'd be like, well, did you wait like the whole time? And they're like, oh no, like I did it earlier. I was like, well, you broke the machine. You're supposed to wait the full 18 hours. But I'll tell you what, I'll give you a deal on a second machine. And so there were multiple people he sold multiple of these machines to before they would figure out that it wasn't real. I love stories about con artists. They're some of my favorite to read or hear about. Like there was a lady that she convinced a bunch of people that she was um, a bastard daughter, I think Rockefeller, and so they would give her money and bank loans and cash fake checks for her because they all thought that she was Rockefeller's bastard daughter, and one day she'd get all the money. Very smart. She eventually got caught, but I think um, Rockefeller helped her, like, or didn't press charges. It made it easier for her to get out. But a good con artist story is always fun, as long as it's not happening to you or someone that you love. I don't like the ones that take advantage of like gullible people, but the ones that like sucker in bad people, people that are supposed to be smarter or think that they're smarter, and they're looking to get over on somebody else. I don't mind those ones as much. The font, like the hard ones, are the ones that like you can't tell whether or not it's a con, and you're just waiting to see how it plays out. And people are telling you to invest, and you're like, I just want to see, like, and maybe they're gonna end up billionaires, like people that buy NFTs or people that invest in cryptocurrency, and you just don't know. Um, and it's fun to watch. Sometimes those things pay off. right, I have got to bail. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. I'm hoping I didn't ruin my knee any worse, but it doesn't feel like I did anything bad to it. It's hard to tell though, because sometimes you don't know till at night when you're laying in bed. That's when then I'll find out that I really screwed it up, because it will keep me awake for a moment. Drop my microphone. Sorry, guys. All right. Well, thank you guys. God bless you. Have a good day. Thank you for coming by.